Hey there, do you like NES titles? Do you like the Game & Watch or WarioWare titles? Do you like rhetorical questions? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then do I have a game for you. NES Remix is a game that was released December of 2013 on the Wii U's Virtual Console, and the reviews for it have ranged from positive to mixed. So, just what is this game all about? And more importantly, what are my thoughts on it? Well, just pull up a chair and I'll tell you all about it. In this game, you can play up to 16 different titles for the NES. These titles range from Super Mario Bros., to Balloon Fight, to Golf, and of course, some Legend of Zelda thrown in for good measure. However, instead of playing these games to completion, you are instead tasked with performing challenges which are relative to each game. For instance, in this Ice Climber stage, you'll be tasked with reaching the top of the peak before time runs out. Alternatively, in the Super Mario Bros. Stage, you'll need to kill a certain amount of enemies before time runs out. The faster you complete these challenges, the more stars you obtain. You can gain up to 3 stars per challenge, and these stars are used to unlock more games. Also, after completing these mini-games, your score is tallied up in bits, which can be used to unlock stamps to use on the Miiverse. Wait a minute. Bits? We're still talking about bits in 2014? Well, in that case, y'all can keep your 8, 16, 32, and 64-bit systems, because I'm running a cool 18,663 bits. And not all of the blast processing in the world could keep up with that, Sonic. But then there's the matter of the remix stages. These stages take the challenges from the game list and, well, remix them. These remixes range from simple palette swaps, such as having Luigi save Mario and Donkey Kong, or having you fight an army of clones in Balloon Fight. Then things get a bit interesting once you start mixing characters into games in which they don't belong. Overall, there are 204 challenges across the 16 unlockable titles, and these challenges can be repeated at any time if you wish to get a better score. Now for the reviewing. Taking a look at the graphics, well, if you know what an 8-bit game looks like, then you know what to expect. Although I will say that the integration with the menu and HUD do a pretty good job of masking the fact that these games are still running a 4:3 aspect ratio on a 16:9 TV. The soundtrack is put together pretty much as well as can be expected, as each game has its own respective OST playing all their chiptune glory. Although I will say that the menu music does add a bit of flair to the overall feel, as well as validate the style of these games. Moving on to the gameplay, well, the good news is that the controls feel the exact same as they did when these games were played on the NES. The bad news is that the controls feel the exact same as they did on the NES. For some games such as Wrecking Crew, Super Mario Bros., or Legend of Zelda, this really isn't much of an issue. However, while playing Ice Climber, the extremely stiff handling will remind you of the good old days when you launched your controllers across the room. Well, actually, that was yesterday. So, can I recommend taking a look at this clever spin on NES titles? Well, I'll admit, it is very fun, but keep in mind that there is no multiplayer, so the fun really only extends to beating the game 100%, which really won't take more than a few days if you're persistent. But if you'd like to take a look at a fun mixture of minigames and nostalgia, then I'd recommend checking this title out. Besides, if you're gonna rage about a video game not working properly, it may as well be a game that was released in 1984, and not 2013.